Hello all. So in order to analyze the data, in last video we have formulated two different queries. Now the first query was having employees table as a driving table, and second query was having job history as a driving table. We also decided what all columns which we need to keep in a ODS table, and based on those columns I have created this structure. Now the columns which we are seeing in this ODS table are exactly same as what we have seen in this select query, except three different columns. So here I have created two columns called created on and updated on. Now these columns will specifically give me the information like the record got created on what date in ODS table, or if record got updated, then on what date that record got updated. Other than that, I have created a primary key, the identity column. Okay. And there is one more change. Now, if you can see here, in our select query, I have a hire date, whereas in the ODS table, I have kept as a start date and end date. Now, why is that? So let's look at the job history table. So what I will do, let's do select star and let's analyze the data more of job history table. So as you can see here, job history table is maintaining records. If let's assume an employee got moved from one department to another department, then the employee's corresponding old records gets moved into job history table. Or if employee gets terminated, or if he leaves the organization, then still that employee's records were maintaining in the or the they are maintaining in the job history table. So what I will do is, so let's find out how many records, such records which we have, which are existing both employees table as well as job history table. So what I will do, where employee ID in select employee ID from job history, and let's run these queries simultaneously. Okay, so let me order these records by employee ID. Order by employee ID. All right. So let's look at this first record, Nina Kocher, and the job ID is AVP, and the hire date is in employees table. The hire date is 2005, 29/09/2005. Whereas we still have two more records in job history table, but look at the hire date. The hire date is the start date is different. Okay, so these are three distinct records. Look at this second one. So the hire date is 2001. It is same for 102 employee. The hire date is same, but what is different here? Job ID. So here the job ID is IT programmer, whereas over here the job ID is additional VP. Okay, and similarly the department is also different. Okay, so what it means that on same day maybe uh, this employee got moved from one department to another department, or maybe simultaneously he was working in both the departments. Not sure what exactly going on over there, uh, because the hire date is same. And over here, this record got ended in uh, 2024 2006, 24 July 2006 with this job ID, whereas we still have this record over here. Not sure what exactly going on. So maybe this record, this employee is still active. Okay, and maybe in this during this period he was in both the positions. Not sure, because if you see here, for this record, the end date is 15th of March, and for this, the start date is 29th of September. So this is a change. Now look at this particular record, 114. So job ID is different, and the hire date is also different. Here the hire date is 2002, whereas here the hire date is 2006. Okay, look at this 122. Now for this record, everything is same. No, the job ID is different. ST man, ST clerk. 120. Look at this 176. So for this record, looks like everything is same. So the hire date is 2006. 24th of March, which is same. Job ID is same, and department ID is 80. Okay, so looks like what I'm thinking is this record, this particular employee might have terminated or left the organization. That might be the case. That's why this record in employees table and job history table is same, and this record in job history table is end dated. Now, what we are going to do, that we are going to consider start date and end date from job history table. And since we don't have end date in employees table, I will consider the end date as null when we are pulling the records from employees table. Okay, so what I will do, let me execute this or create this ODS HR table in our data warehouse schema. So one thing we have to notice is whatever queries we ran so far, those are on HR database, but our ODS table will reside on data warehouse database. All right, so I have created the table. Now we'll create a stored procedure. So as we discussed earlier, the load from staging table to ODS table will happen using stored procedure. So all these select statements or insert statement, whatever we write, that will write inside a stored procedure. So let me create a stored procedure, create or alter store procedure load underscore ODS, okay, as begin end. All right. So one thing also we discussed in last video was the second query for which the driving table is job history. That query we are going to execute only once. That is at start of the load. Okay, and remaining all subsequent load will happen from employees as a driving table. Okay, so how can we decide the very first load? So the simple thing is, if there are no records on ODS table, that means there is no load happened so far. So the first load which is going to happen will be from job history table. So let's find out the count first. Okay, so in the stored procedure, what I will do, I will declare a variable, declare ODS record count. I will declare that as int. Okay, and let me select count star from ODS table. It's giving me 0. So what I will do, I will store that value in a variable. Okay, and I will write a if condition. If this equal to 0, then begin end. All right, and for time being, I will just print. So I will execute this stored procedure and let's run this. Okay, it is printing 0. So that since there are 0 records. Okay, so what I will do is, now in this first block, if condition, we'll have to write this insert statement. So anyway our query is ready, so I will simply grab this query. I will have to use second query, so I will grab this query, and instead of print I will use this select statement, and I will have to add insert statement over here. So again, out of these many columns, 3 columns are getting updated by default. Okay, so I just need remaining columns. So I'll copy these columns. I'll get that in Notepad. I need to bring those columns, or we can keep those columns in the same row. That's fine, or different row. That is fine. So and insert into ODS HR. These are the columns. Let me indent it. And Yeah, so far this is good. And only one thing we have to do is see in the data warehouse table, this is giving me an error. Reason being, we don't have these exact table names. The table name starts with st. Okay, so there is a prefix in staging table. So I will just change that. Yeah, so if I run this query, it should work. Okay, and another thing, one small change is, as I told, I will have start date and end date here. So I will change, instead of hire date, I will do that as start date. And oh, okay, one more thing. So what I missed was, let's look at these records. So if I run this query, I am seeing Nina Kosher as additional VP. Okay, whereas the actually, let me run this again. Let me run this. This is my the second record set is from my job history table, and you can see here 101 record, employee ID, the job ID is showing as account and accounting manager. Department is 110. Okay, whereas over here you are seeing hire date as same, job ID as same. So this is the incorrect. So why, what we are missing here? So even though we have used job history as a driving table, what, while displaying the records, we are displaying that as from employees, which is incorrect. So email is fine, phone number is fine, hire date should come from job history. So I will treat that as a start date. Okay, I will add end date as well. Okay, again job ID should come from job history. Manager, we don't have manager in job history table, so I will use that as a null. Okay, department, again department should come from job history. Department name, so department name is coming from departments table, but we have to change the join here, because here the department with the join with departments table is from employees, which is incorrect. So I have changed this. Now let's run this query again. All right, so as you can see here, again let's look at this record, Nina Kocher, 1997, 1997 2001. Now this is perfect. Department is 110. So this query is perfect now. So I will use this query. Again, I need to replace that with ST. Okay, this is fine. So if I run this insert statement, it should work. It should run. See, 10 records got inserted, which is fine. So okay, I will execute this proc entire. Okay, and let's run this again. Now proc got completed, but it should not insert these 10 records again. If it inserts, it will become duplicate records in our ODS table. So let's find out. Select count star from this. We are good. Why it is showing only one record? Okay, 10 records. So we are good here. What I was missing, what I did wrong. Why it is showing one here? Select count star from. Yeah, we are good here. Okay, now the next task is, we have completed our first task, like loading a records from job history table into ODS table. Now after that, the second task is to load records from employees table as well. For subsequent load, we have to use employees table as a transaction table. Okay, and one more thing we have to do here is, we have to change this hire date as start date, and when we are pulling the records from employees table, the end date would be null, so as end date. So I will use this select statement. So begin end, and I will start another begin end. I will replace that with st underscore. Yeah, so query is fine. I will use same insert statement. All right. So this is also fine. I will just indent this. Okay. Uh, I don't need this. I will close this guy. I'll move this here. Okay, let's execute our stored procedure again. Let's see how many records are getting 117 records, which is perfect. There were 10 records in job history table and 107 records in employees table. So that's why it's showing 170 record. Now, if I execute this SP again, it's inserting 224. So now records got increased. Now, why is that? It should not happen. So let's look at our records here. Select star from ODS HR and let's filter out for employee ID 1 where 1 equal to 1 and employee ID equal to. Okay, now if you can see here, there are 4 records. 2 records came from job history table. Okay, and since we have added that if condition, job history insert statement will get executed only once. Okay, but since there is no restriction for inserting this second insert, it is keep on adding duplicate records. So if I execute my SP again, I will have another additional record. So all these records which you are seeing here highlighted, those are duplicate records. Now that should not happen. So uh, how we can restrict that, because these are keep on adding duplicate records as and when we are executing that stored procedure. So one way to do that is we'll add a not exist condition here. So where 1 equal to 1 and not exist 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 select 1. So we need to restrict those records which are already available in ODS HR table. Okay, so we have to find out those records which are available in ODS table. We have to check those against employees table because that is a driving table in this case, and we have to restrict those. So that's why we have added not exist condition. So what I will do, 1 equal to 1 and ODS dot employee ID equal to employee dot employee ID. But uh, this is not enough. Adding employee ID condition is not enough. I will tell you why. So let's look at our records here. So I will again pull these records, select star from employees where employee ID um, in select employee ID from job history. Okay, and let me execute this guy. Now, as you can see here, here uh, certainly the employee ID is a primary key in employees table for sure. There are no duplicates, so we can find out that as well. So what I will do, select employee ID, select star from st underscore employees, and I will use employee ID uh, group group by employee ID having count star greater than 1, and it should not give me any records. So that means there are employee IDs in employees table are unique. Okay, but while loading into ODS table, what we are doing is we are combining records from job history as well as employees table. So we are already loaded this. So these records are from job history table. or these records. So we have already loaded these records. Now in job history table itself, this employee ID is primary. It's a duplicate. It's not a primary key. So obviously in ODS table, ultimately since we are combining job history as well as employees table, employee ID is no more a primary key. So we cannot keep only employee ID as a condition to identify the unique records between ODS and this employees table. Okay, so there has to be something more. So what that more is, so as we saw, like for this particular record 102, or even maybe this 114 record. So let's look at this 114 records, 114 employee ID. For this the employee ID is same, job ID or start date, hire date is also same. 2006, no, hire date is different. So let's consider the record 112. So higher date is 2003, 2007, 2002, 2002. Yeah, look at this record 102. So employee ID is same between employees table and job history table. Higher date is also same 201, 2001, 2001, 13 Jan 2001. Job ID is different. Okay, and the maybe the department ID also is different. Okay, but look at this another record. So 176 record, this one. So for this everything is same. 176, 2006, department 80, department 80, and SAREAP. So basically we have to include all this combination, all these four columns, maybe employee date, start date, not necessarily the end date, but employee ID, start date, job ID, and department ID. Okay. Still, this particular record is a duplicate, so it will get restricted. I will tell you what exactly I meant to say is. So instead of adding only employee ID as a condition, I will add ODS dot. Let's take all the columns. So ODS dot, let's say start date. So start date equal to employee dot hire date, and ODS dot job ID, employee dot job ID, and ODS dot department ID equal to employee dot department ID. All right. So I have added all these four conditions. So now if I execute this statement alone, it will give me 107 records. Okay. But if I execute with not exist, it won't give me any records because those records are already exist. So we saw there are duplicate records in ODS table. Okay. So since I added this condition, let me execute the stored procedure. And what I will do, I will truncate this table before executing the stored procedure again. Truncate table. Okay. Now I will execute my stored procedure, and it inserted 10 records first. So these 10 records from job history table, obviously, and 106 records instead of 107. It inserted 106 records from employees table from this second query. Now what, why it inserted, why it skipped one record, why it inserted only 106 instead of 107? Now if we look at here, this particular record, employee ID 176. Now this 176 employee ID we already inserted from job history table. Okay, and since we have added this condition, like don't exclude those records for which this combination matches in ODS table. So now for this particular record, all four combination match, and that's why it skipped the record into ODS table to insert it again. Okay, so if I go back here where employee ID equal to 176, let's say, I should see only one record. ODS HR, invalid object, ODS HR. What's going on? Oh, no. I need to run this on data warehouse database. I'm seeing two records here as well because job ID is different. So which one I need to check? Not 176. because for this job ID is okay. So there are two records here of same 176 records. So totally there are three records. Two records in job history, one record is employees table. Since these two records got already inserted into ODS table, this particular record got skipped. Okay, so that's why. So far so good. We have completed writing this stored procedure. Now, how many times we execute this stored procedure, it will not insert any duplicate records. So if I run this, it will insert zero records. How many times I will, it doesn't matter. So I will have no duplicates into my ODS table. So this is perfectly fine. Now, one more thing which we are missing is, let's assume some name got changed, or maybe email ID or phone number got changed for any of the employee. In that case, that record will not get inserted into job history table. Okay, it will not create any additional record. So let's assume, so let's change, let's say, so for maybe let's change the, I will take this record into employees table. So I will go back in my HR table, select star from employees. So let's take about 101 employee itself, where employee ID equal to 101. All right. What I will do is I will change this. I will add the commission percent. Let's say it's null. No, but we are not adding commission percent in ODS table. So what I will do, I will change this email ID. Okay. So or maybe I will change the phone number. So I'm adding the phone number, I suppose. Am I adding the, yeah, I'm adding the phone number. Okay. Uh, what else is there? Phone number, salary, department, manager, email. Uh, so let's change the phone number. So what I will do, update employees, set phone number, and instead of this number, what I will use, let's say 5555, 555. I'll change it to all five. Okay, so in my HR table now, I have updated this phone number. Okay, if I run my stored procedure, first before that, I first need to change that into my staging table. So if I check my staging table here, select star from st underscore employees, uh, where employee ID equal to 101. So it still doesn't have that phone number updated. So what I need to do is, in order to update this particular record into staging table, I need to first execute the Python script. And in order to run that Python script, I will go back to my old Visual Studio Code where I wrote that main.py, and I will execute that. So if I open my Visual Studio Code and if I execute main.py, what basically it will do is it will pull the records from my ODS table or HR database and load those all those records. Since it is a full road, it will pull all the records, truncate the staging tables, and reload or repopulate those staging tables into data warehouse database. So let me execute that. All right. And if I go back, and so this is in HR schema, and this particular phone number we updated. And if I go back, if I run my st underscore employees table again, now I am seeing this updated phone number. Okay. So far so good. Now if I execute my stored procedure here, my ODS table should reflect this phone number, correct? That is what the requirement is. So if I run this stored procedure, zero records inserted, nothing got inserted, which is correct, but my record should get updated. So if I run this 116 and I will execute this again, and I will filter it for employee ID 1, where employee ID equal to 101. So if you look at here, still my phone number is not updated. Now why is that? Because we haven't handled that. So it is not, definitely it is not picking that phone number from this first insert, because first insert is the record is from job st job history. The driving table is st job history. It should pull from st underscore employees table only in the so basically in the second query. So in second query the driving table is st underscore employees, but since we added this condition, right, it is not uh, it is not updating. I mean, it is not inserting those records. It is not reinserting, we can say. So since so basically it's skipping that updated record. Now there are two ways we can handle this. First is either you truncate entire ODS table and repopulate it, okay, or you can update the records. So records which are already exist, records which matches between staging table and ODS table, you update those records. So write a update SQL. So what we'll do, instead of truncating the ODS table, we'll write a update SQL. So you update. So before that, what I will do, let's grab this query, and instead of not exist, we'll use exist. Okay, or uh, the other way we will write it. So select star from, I will tell you why other way we are writing it. So ODS, ODS, all right, and join EMP. I will indent it, EMP, and on. All right. So select star from this, join this, and if I run this, I should get 116 records. Yeah. Oh no, something. Oh, okay. So I missed one thing. I should not have. I should keep all the four joins. So on. Yeah, this is perfect. It will not be started. It will be started. Yeah, this is fine. And if I run this now, I should see 116 records. 107 records. Okay, because yeah, there are 107 records in ODS table. Okay, though the second query inserted only 106, ultimately we have 107 records. Okay, now we have to write update statement on that. So what I will do, update. Okay, set. Now we have to choose what all columns we need to update here. Ideally, we should update all the columns. So let's say set ODS dot first name equal to employee dot first name. So if at all there is any change, it should update in ODS table. ODS dot last name equal to employee dot last name. ODS dot email equal to employee dot email, and ODS dot phone number, let's say, equal to employee dot phone number. Now I will not add other columns because indent we don't have to worry. If it gets indented, it will go into job history table. So new record will get created. So it will not go into update. Job ID, again, if employee moves, job ID gets changed, ideally a new record should get created. So we don't have to worry about updating this job ID as well. And same applies to manager ID or department and remaining all columns. So as of now, I'll keep only these four columns, and let's execute this statement and begin. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I'll execute. And what I will do is, now let's execute our stored procedure. Okay, and let's see. So if I run this right now, it doesn't have updated phone number. So ideally for this particular guy, this particular record, the phone number should get updated. There are three records. For one record, phone number should get updated. So let's execute it. See, so this is what exactly we have planned for. So in this video, basically what we have seen is we wrote a stored procedure, okay, which will pull the records from staging table and insert and update unique records into ODS table. It will not add any duplicates. So that thing we have handled in a stored procedure. Okay. Now in the next video, we'll see how can we uh, uh, how can we automate this load? So what we'll do basically is next video, we'll create a SSIS package. Okay. And in that package, we'll call this stored procedure, but calling stored procedure is not enough because we have seen if we update anything in HR database, we first have to run the Python code. Okay, we first have to pull those records, updated records into staging table. So in the SSIS package, we'll first call Python script and then we'll call the stored procedure so that our ODS table will be in sync with our OLTP or transactional system. Okay, thank you for watching this video and see you in the next video.